There is a moment most people rush past, and that is exactly why they are forgotten. It happens right before everything becomes real. You are close. The air is warm. The distance is almost gone. And for one tiny second, the whole world feels still. That second matters more than people think. Because a man may remember attraction, yes. He may remember chemistry, maybe even the rush. But what stays with him is the feeling right before the moment lands. The look, the pause, the quiet confidence, the sense that he is standing in front of a woman who is fully there, fully awake, and completely in command of her own desire. That is what follows him home. That is what echoes later when the night is over and the room is empty. So if you want to become unforgettable, stop thinking about doing more. Stop thinking the answer is performance. It is not. The answer is presence, real presence. And stay with me, because what comes next is where almost everyone gets it wrong. They speed up when they should slow down. They give more when they should reveal less. And in doing that, they lose the very thing that creates depth. If you know how to hold this moment, really hold it, you do not just build tension, you create meaning. And meaning is what a person remembers long after desire cools down. Most people have been taught a bad lesson. They think being unforgettable means being wild, new, shocking, or impossible to compare. But that is not what reaches someone deeply. Novelty can catch attention for a second. It cannot hold the heart. What truly stays in a man's mind is not the woman who tried hardest. It is the woman who made him feel something real without forcing it. The woman who made one simple moment feel larger than the entire night. The truth is, real intimacy is not loud. It does not need to scream to be powerful. It is often quiet. It is in the breath you do not rush. The silence you do not break too quickly. The calm in your eyes when everything around you feels charged. That kind of energy changes the entire experience. It tells him this is not empty. This is not random. This is not two people acting out a script they learned somewhere else. This is alive. This is happening now. And if you can create that feeling, you move past attraction and enter memory. You stop being just exciting and start becoming significant. Watch until the end, because the final shift is the one that turns simple chemistry into something that lingers for years. And once you understand that, you will never again think power comes from trying harder. It comes from knowing when to soften, when to pause, and when to let the moment breathe. One of the strongest things you can do is also one of the simplest. Look at him. Really look at him. Not quickly. Not shyly like you are trying to escape the weight of the moment. Hold the eye contact just a little longer than expected. That is where the energy changes. Because eye contact is not just visual. It is emotional. It says, I am here. I am not hiding. I am not half gone in my head. I am with you. And most people never stay there long enough for the connection to fully land. They glance. They laugh it off. They break the tension because the intensity scares them. But when you stay steady, when your eyes stay soft and open, you do something rare. You make the moment feel honest. Men do not often get that kind of honesty in intimate moments. They may get attention. They may get desire. But being deeply seen, that is different. That is why a steady gaze can shake him more than any dramatic move ever could. It pulls him out of instinct and into awareness. Suddenly, he is not just feeling the moment physically, he is feeling it emotionally, and that changes everything. Let your eyes speak before your mouth ever does. Let them say, slow down. Let them say, be here with me. Let them say, this matters. If you can do that without flinching, you create a kind of closeness that does not fade when the night is over. And in a minute, I will tell you why the softest words often hit harder than the boldest ones. Then there is the power of a quiet voice. Not a speech, not a line you memorize because it sounded impressive. Just something soft, true, and close. A whisper can do what loud words never can. It makes the moment feel private, chosen, shared by only two people and no one else. That is why the exact words matter less than the feeling behind them. You do not need to sound perfect. You need to sound real. It can be simple. It can be, I want this moment with you. It can be, stay close. It can be, I feel safe with you right now. Those words are not big on paper, but in the right moment they land with force. Because what he hears is not just language. He hears trust. He hears desire without performance. He hears something honest enough to lower his guard. And that kind of honesty is powerful. A whisper also changes the rhythm. It slows everything down. It invites him to listen, not just react. It draws him closer instead of pushing energy outward. The best part is this. When a woman speaks softly in a charged moment, she is not losing power. She is directing it. She is shaping the scene without having to dominate it. That is a very different kind of strength. So if you want the moment to stay with him, do not try to say the boldest thing. Say the truest thing in the softest way. Let your voice carry warmth. Let your words feel like a secret. And keep watching, because what matters even more than words is what happens when you do not say anything at all. Breath is one of the most overlooked parts of intimacy, and yet it changes everything. Most people do not notice it because it feels too small, too ordinary. But in a close moment, breath is not small at all. It is atmosphere. It is timing. It is the invisible thing that tells the other person whether this is rushed or fully felt. If your breathing is frantic, the moment becomes scattered. If your breathing is slow and grounded, the entire energy deepens. That is why one calm breath taken close to him can say more than a dozen dramatic moves. It communicates that you are not afraid of the intensity, that you are letting yourself feel it instead of hurrying to the next thing, and that calm does something powerful to him. It gives him permission to feel the moment too. It makes anticipation heavier, richer, more alive. You do not have to turn this into some performance. You do not need to make it obvious. Just stay close. Let there be stillness. Let one slow breath settle the space between you. Let him feel warmth, patience, and control. Because anticipation is often stronger than action, and breath is one of the fastest ways to build that anticipation without saying a word. If this is making sense, stay with me, because the next move is so gentle that many women underestimate it completely. And yet it can soften a man faster than almost anything else. There is something deeply disarming about touching a man's face with care, not grabbing, not pulling, just placing your hands there with calm intention, like you are holding something precious for a second. That simple act changes the meaning of the moment. It takes the energy from pure heat into something warmer, fuller, and more human. A lot of men are used to being wanted for what they do. They are not always used to being touched in a way that says, I see you, I feel you, I choose you. That is why this matters. When you hold his face gently, when your thumbs rest near his cheek or jaw, when your eyes stay on him and your hands do not rush, he feels more than desire. He feels trust. He feels tenderness. And for many men, that lands deeper than they expect. It catches them off guard in the best way. Suddenly, the moment is not just intense, it is meaningful. It is personal. This also changes you, because when you slow down enough to touch with intention, you stop acting from pressure. You start acting from choice. You are no longer trying to impress. You are deciding to connect. That shift is powerful. It grounds your energy and gives the entire moment a new shape. So do not underestimate softness. Softness used with confidence is not weak. It is magnetic. It can calm him, open him, and make the memory of that second stay bright in his mind long after everything else fades. And then there is one tiny detail that can feel almost electric when it is done right. Say his name. Slowly. Not like you are calling across a room. Not like you are filling silence because you do not know what else to do. Say it like it means something. Say it like you want him fully present. Because when you say a person's name in a close moment, you bring them back into the center of it. You make the experience personal. You strip away distraction. You remind him that this is not generic and it is not casual. It is him, right here, right now. That kind of specificity carries weight. Many men move through life being noticed in general ways, being desired as an idea, being appreciated for a role, but hearing their name spoken softly with warmth and intention can cut through all of that. It reaches the person beneath the surface. It says, I am not lost in the moment. I am fully with you in it. That can be surprisingly powerful. If your voice is soft and steady, his name can feel like a thread pulling him closer emotionally, not just physically. And those are the moments people replay later. Not because they were flashy, but because they felt real. So do not toss his name away carelessly. Let it rise slowly. Let it land. Let it mean something. Because sometimes one word spoken with true feeling can stay in someone's mind longer than an entire night of noise. Now here is the move almost nobody respects enough, and maybe the most powerful one of all. Pause. Right when the moment wants to rush forward, pause. Not from fear, not from uncertainty, from confidence, from self-possession, from the deep understanding that tension grows in space, not speed. This is where many people lose the magic. They think the next second is all that matters, so they hurry into it. But what burns into memory is often the second before, the stillness, the held breath, the look that lingers just a little too long, the quiet that makes everything feel heavier. When you pause on purpose, you take control of the rhythm without forcing anything. You say, with your energy alone, this moment belongs to me too. That is powerful. It tells him you are not being carried away by the moment. You are choosing it, and chosen energy always feels different from automatic energy. It feels deeper, richer, more intense. In that pause, let the air thicken. Let your eyes stay on him. Let your hand rest for a second. Let the silence speak. Because suspense is not empty. Suspense is charged. It makes the whole moment expand. And he may not even be able to explain why it affects him so much. He will just know that something about that second felt different, stronger, almost impossible to shake. And if you think that sounds simple, good. The most unforgettable things usually are. What makes this all work is not technique in the usual sense. It is emotional truth. That is the difference. You can copy actions without creating impact. You can repeat words without creating memory. What matters is whether your energy matches what you are doing. If your eyes are steady but your mind is elsewhere, he will feel that. If your words sound pretty but empty, he will feel that too. But if your body, your voice, and your attention all say the same thing, the moment becomes powerful very fast. That is why presence matters more than performance. Presence is coherent. It feels whole. It tells the other person, I am not acting for approval. I am in this. I am choosing this. I am aware of what I feel. And that awareness creates a very different kind of attraction. It makes you seem grounded instead of eager, sensual instead of scripted, unforgettable instead of simply exciting. This is also why less can become more. One real look can land harder than a dozen dramatic moves. One honest whisper can mean more than a rehearsed line. One pause can hold more tension than constant action. If you are still here, remember this part, because it changes how you think about desire forever. The deepest pull often comes from what is fully felt, not what is loudly shown. And once you understand that, you stop chasing impact and start creating it naturally. A lot of people confuse intensity with chaos. They think if a moment is powerful, it has to be wild, messy, and impossible to control. But the most intense moments are often the most contained. They are focused. They are clear. They feel like two people stepping fully into the same second without rushing to escape it. That is why calm confidence is so attractive. It does not kill passion. It concentrates it. When you are calm, your smallest actions become louder. A glance means more. A touch means more. A slow exhale means more. You stop flooding the moment with too much movement and start letting meaning rise from less. This is where true feminine power often gets missed. It is not always dramatic. It is often in restraint, in softness with standards, in openness without losing self-respect, in warmth without collapsing into need. That balance is rare, and because it is rare, it is memorable. A man may have experienced attention before. He may have felt attraction before. But being with a woman who is warm, intentional, and fully rooted in herself feels entirely different. It makes him lean in. It makes him wonder. It makes him stay present. So if you want to create depth, stop trying to overwhelm the moment. Refine it. Slow it down. Let silence do some of the work. Let subtlety carry more weight. Because when the energy is clean and true, it reaches much deeper than noise ever will. There is also a hidden layer here that many people never talk about. A man does not just remember what happened. He remembers how he felt about himself with you. That matters more than most realize. If he felt chosen, respected, and deeply present, that memory becomes powerful. If he felt rushed, used, or pushed into a script, the memory fades fast, no matter how intense it looked from the outside. This is why your energy can shape the entire emotional aftertaste of a moment. When your presence says, I am here because I want to be, not because I need validation, everything changes. He feels the difference immediately. There is less pressure, more honesty, more gravity. He does not feel like he is just part of an experience. He feels like he is inside a moment that actually means something. And that feeling can stay with him for a very long time. So yes, eye contact matters. Soft words matter. Breath matters. Touch matters. The pause matters. But what ties them all together is this deeper truth. The moment becomes unforgettable when it carries self-respect, sincerity, and choice. Without those things, the rest is decoration. With those things, even the smallest gesture can leave a mark. And trust me, this next idea is where everything locks into place. If you want to leave a lasting impression, stop asking, "What should I do to be unforgettable?" and start asking, "How can I be more present, more honest, more intentional in the moment that is already here?" That question changes everything, because then you stop performing for an outcome. You start living inside the experience. You stop trying to manage his reaction and start honoring your own pace. You become less concerned with whether you look perfect and more concerned with whether the moment feels true. Ironically, that is exactly what makes you magnetic. People are drawn to those who are comfortable enough to slow down, to feel, to remain open without becoming careless. That kind of woman does not need to beg for attention. Her energy collects attention naturally. Not because she is louder, but because she is deeper. And depth is rare. So the next time you are in a moment full of heat and possibility, remember this: you do not need to rush into anything to create intensity. You do not need to do the most to be remembered. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is hold the silence. Hold the eye contact. Hold his face. Say his name like it matters. Let one true whisper land. Let one calm breath change the room. Then pause and let the moment become big enough to feel. That is where memory is made. So here's the real shift. Being unforgettable is not about making a man lose control. It is about making him feel deeply present, deeply chosen, deeply aware that this moment with you is different from the rushed, distracted, surface-level experiences he has known before. That is the mark you want to leave. Not confusion, not shock, not a cheap thrill. Presence, depth, emotional electricity. The kind that keeps returning to him later when he least expects it. And if you have stayed with me this far, then you already understand something most people never learn. The before is not empty space. The build-up is not a side note. The quiet seconds before the world changes are often the most powerful part. That is where desire becomes devotion. That is where chemistry becomes memory. That is where a woman stops being just attractive and becomes impossible to forget. So slow down. Be intentional. Do less but mean it more. Let your energy speak before your body ever has to. Let your warmth have backbone. Let your softness have self-respect. Let your stillness carry power. Because when you know how to own the moment before everything happens, you do not just create attraction, you create a feeling he will keep trying to name long after the night is gone. And that feeling is what stays. Always,